Well folks, g'day and welcome back to the channel. Thank you very much for tuning in and being a part. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button for all the best classic mini content I can produce. Now, as you can see here, we are not working on a classic mini today. We are going to be working on my wife's 2016 Hyundai Tucson. Now, since it's been at the dealership up until now, I have been lazy is probably the best word to use in terms of servicing. So there are a few things in which we need to do. This episode, we are going to be focusing on changing the rear diff oil and also changing the transfer case oil. This is a 2016 Hyundai Tucson with a 2-litre diesel engine. Let's get straight into it. All right, first things first, I actually drove it in a little bit too far and doesn't give us enough access room. So we're just gonna reverse it back just probably about a foot. Give us that little bit of extra room. Definitely do not advise driving like this, but hey, YOLO. All right, so now that we moved it, let's jack up the car. I have spoken about how to use a jack on a classic mini. Essentially on any vehicle, it is almost the same, I guess. You just want to make sure that you jack up off a securing point, do it on a flat surface, and use good, strong jack stands. Now, as you can see here, I'm jacking up under the diff. I'm getting as high as I possibly can, that way I can get some decent axle stands under there, and I can get this thing off the ground as high as I can. That way it'll just make it a bit easier to do the job. Now, in the previous scene, you saw me put these great axle stands under the car, but I actually opted to go with the red ones because it does give a little bit extra height, and I want to get this thing off the ground as high as I possibly can and make sure it's safe as well. Now, it's not necessary to do this, but I am going to remove the wheels because I am going to rotate them as well, and then I'll take it into work during the week, do a balance and a 4-wheel alignment. All right, now we got up on axle stands and we got the wheels off. It is a really good time to be able to check the brake pads. So what we're going to be doing is having a look in between there, seeing how much material is left between the backing plate and the rotor on both inside and outside, front and back. Check all suspension components. So anything that may wear, such as the shock absorber, any bushes, any movement in there whatsoever, and then we can continue forward. Now we're going to be draining the rear diff oil first. This is the fill plug and this is the drain plug. Tomo's tech tip, whenever you go to drain something, make sure you can undo the fill plug. If you can't, then it means that you shouldn't be draining it because then you won't be able to refill it. So once you've cracked the fill plug, we want to grab a drain tin and we want to grab a socket and then take the drain plug out. Now this is a 24mm socket as well. This is a 24mm socket as well to be able to get these out. So we're going to take the fill plug out first. There we go, put that to the side, and then we're going to remove the drain plug, drain the oil, try not to lose it in there like I just did, then move it off to the side. Now this diff does take about a litre of oil, so just drain as much out as you can before refilling it. So for this top up of diff oil, we're going to be using 7590 Gulf Western Ultra Clear gear oil. So what I'm going to do first is I'm just going to put a little bit into the diff and just to help push the old oil out and just give it a little bit of a flush. Once it's come out clear, I can then refit the drain plug and then refill it. Now, whenever you take a drain plug out, it generally has a magnet at the bottom. Any sort of swarf on there is completely fine, so long as it's not big, chunky clumps. If it is, you've then got problems. Essentially, a bald guy is no good, whereas a guy with a little bit of hair is a good sign. That is completely normal wear and tear. Give that a wipe with a clean rag before reinstalling with a new sump washer. Now, you don't need to tighten these up much. You just need to give them a bit of a nip, make sure that they're not loose. Grab your oil, and then you'll be pumping it in until it comes out of this fill plug. Now this is overflowing because I am filling it up with a fitting that is bigger than the actual fill hole. But as you can see in a second, when I remove it, any excess that comes out at a constant stream means that it is at the full level. Once it finishes draining, you can then refit the fill plug and move on. Once the fill plug is in, get yourself a 24mm spanner, nip it up and give it a clean with some brake cleaner. Now the next part of this is removing the 400 bolts that hold the under tray on so we can then go and drain the transfer case. I've shown you how to do this on a previous episode when I serviced my wife's car recently. once you've got the under tray off, move it to the side along with the bolts, that way you're not going to lose them or you're going to kick them when you go to move around. And we can get on to draining the front diff. Alright, so this is what we call the transfer case, or a bevel box if you're a VAG enthusiast. We have our drain point and we have our fill point. Once again, we're going to be loosening off the fill point first to make sure that we can refill it, and then we're going to be draining it from here. This does take 75/85, but like I said, we're using ultra clear 75/90 for this. There is a slight weep around here as well. As you can see, it is a little bit damp. I am going to clean that down before we refit it. That way we can ensure that if it is leaking, we can change it in the future, and that'll just be an axle seal. So that looks like an 8 or a 10mm Allen key. Let's crack it and find out. Alright, let's start with a 10mm socket, see if I'm going to be horribly right or wrong. Oh, what do you know, it is. It's 10mm. Now, it is going to be quite close to this exhaust flange here, so I'll probably either need to get a shorter socket, or I'll just use a proper Allen key for it, which I might just use that with a spanner. Actually, change of plans here. Let's use a long ratchet spanner. Now, this is Tomo's tech tip, however, it's probably not the best idea to be swinging off a ratcheting spanner. We're just going to be putting it on here, and then we're going to be cracking it. Oh, perfect. How good's that? Okay, excellent. So now that's loose, we can then go ahead and drain the drain plug. Alright, once again, it's a 24mm socket. I'm going to use this with an extension, just so it'll make it a little bit easier to be able to drain. Alright, get your drain tin, place it underneath, drain the fluid into it. Now, because we've actually not removed the fill plug properly, you'll find it'll create a bit of a vacuum in there. So we just want to take that plug out completely before we drain it. That way it'll just save it creating a vacuum and sloshing it everywhere and potentially spilling it. Alright, now the fill plug's out, we can then go and drain the rest of the oil. I might just use the socket on that. There we go. Right, once it's loose, you can then just drain it. So once again, this takes approximately about a litre of oil, which is pretty good. And you do have to make sure that you clean that when you go to put it back in. So we're going to give that a quick little wipe over, and we're going to flush it as well. So same thing again, we're going to fill the oil up through there, flush it all out till it comes clean, put it in with a new sump plug washer, and then refill it from the top, wait till it overflows, and then we can send it on its way. This one actually fits a little bit better. We can actually put the filler hose in there properly with probably 2 to 3 pumps. It'll come out nice and clean. Then we can just refit the drain plug, and away we go by refilling it. Pump it full of oil until it comes out that fill plug, just nice and easily. If you go too fast, it will just overflow like it did before. Now remember, this will take approximately a litre of oil, so it's not a lot, but just make sure that when you remove the filler, that if it is coming out of the constant stream, you can be sure that you've topped it up enough. Alright, once you're satisfied it's full, put the new sump plug washer on it, put in the fill plug, and tighten it up. Alright, once the fill plug's tightened up, you then want to make sure that you wash it down with brake cleaner. Because of the high alcohol content that brake cleaner has, it dries pretty quickly, so you don't need to worry too much about wiping it down. You can just wipe off any excess once you've finished.
G'day folks, Tomo here from Tomo's Tune-Ups. If you haven't already, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button to my channel. Not only will you be kept informed as to when I release new videos, but also it helps to grow my channel, my analytics, and most importantly, recommend videos to yourself and new subscribers.
Alright, so one of the other things I probably want to talk about on this episode is just doing a brake fluid flush. I have described how to do it on previous episodes, in which I've done it on my Classic Mini. There are many different ways you can do it. You can do it under pressure bleeding, you can use a vacuum bleeder, you can gravity bleed it, you can use it two-person methods, you can run a hose with a slit in it with a screw in the end into a jar and just pump it yourself. That way it pushes the fluid out, doesn't suck air back in. You can run a line into brake fluid and then just pump it through. That way it doesn't suck it back. There's many different ways which you can do this. I'm going to use my vacuum bleeder on this. I'm not going to be using the vacuum side of things. I'm only going to be using the bleeder itself. So I'm going to crack the nipple, put it on there, and then just pump the brake fluid all the way through until it comes out clear. Once one wheel is done, I'm then going to proceed to the next one, so forth and so on. Now, you always need to make sure as well that you work from the furthest wheel from the cylinder first and then get closer and closer. So in Australia, we drive on the right-hand side. The brake master cylinder is on the right-hand front. So we want to be going left rear, left front, right front. That way we can ensure that we bleed all of the old brake fluid out of there. All right, so for this application, we are using my automatic brake fluid refilling tool. This is super handy tool to have, and you can buy it from any good auto parts shop. So essentially what we want to be doing is filling up the container with brake fluid to the maximum line, which is generally about half a litre or 600 mils. Once it's full, you then want to be refitting the cap. You then want to fit it to the brake master cylinder and clip it to it. Wait until it fills up with fluid and then start bleeding the brakes. All right, so one of the best and easiest ways I find to bleed brakes is just with this. You can use this, as I said, as a vacuum tool, but I'm not going to worry about running my compressor at this stage. It's just going to make it too much noise. So we just want to crack the nipple to begin with. I generally just crack it, then re-tension it just a fraction. We're going to be putting that pipe on there. Going to loosen it off a couple of turns, and then we're going to go ahead and pump the brake pedal. Any old fluid is going to get pushed out through here, and you're going to watch the color change from the old green fluid through to clear. Because we've also got the brake fluid refilling tool on there, we're not going to have to worry about it running out of brake fluid. Generally give it about 10 to 15 pumps per wheel. Now when you're finished, make sure you double check the level and ensure that there's plenty of brake fluid left in there, and if so, top it up if necessary. So as you can see here, the brake fluid color is still green, so we want to keep pumping until it comes out completely clear. That way we can ensure that all the old brake fluid is out of the lines. Generally this first wheel will take the most amount of pressure to be able to push it all through. After that, it will become a shorter process. Make sure as well you keep checking the fluid level whilst doing it. So as you can see, the fluid is now significantly lighter. Let's remove the brake bleeding tool. Generally a little bit will come out. As you can see, it is nice and clear. Just make sure that there's no air bubbles in it whatsoever. Tighten it up, give it a clean with a bit of brake cleaner. Make sure that we've got a nice firm pedal, and then move on to the next wheel. Make sure as well you've refit the brake nipple cap. And then repeat the same process for all of them. All right, so that's pretty much the brake fluid bleeding procedure that I like to use. Make sure as well you clean the brake fluid cap when necessary, so use a bit of brake cleaner to give that a wipe over. If it does have a strainer inside there, make sure as well you remove the strainer, give it a clean prior to filling it with new brake fluid. Put the cap back on, make sure everything is sealed, and away we go. Now, my daughter is just sitting behind me here, so let's just say hello to everyone watching out there at Tomo's Tune-Ups. Thanks very much for watching. We did change the transfer case oil, the rear diff oil, and the brake fluid. Next episode, we're going to be going ahead and changing the fuel filter as well as the transmission oil, which might be a two-part series, but we'll wait and see. Thanks for watching. I need to get back to being a dad. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Please consider that like and subscribe button, and we'll catch up on the next episode of Tomo's Tune-Ups.